to my YouTube channel at the Murkison Method. Like and subscribe. I'm putting out free content every single day. This definitely can help you in your real estate business. Doesn't matter if you're new to the real estate business or you've been in the real estate business for a long time. I definitely going to put out free information for you to learn. Today, I'm going to go over the exact rental lease that I use today, that I use with all my tenants. This is, there's a misconception that a rental lease has to be 10 plus pages with a lot of mumbo jumbo jargon in it that you don't understand. My rental lease is only 3 pages, very easy to understand, straight to the point. A 5th grader can understand it when they read it. That's how you want it to be. It still has all the most important information in it to protect you as a landlord, just in case the tenant does default. But it's very easy, straight to the point, okay? Now, here's the first page. Of course, this is an example, a sample lease that I use. Now, you put your information here, your LLC, your address, and your phone number. Of course, you put the date of the day that you signed a lease agreement with the tenant. Here's where, you put your company name, the tenant information, okay? All the names on the lease. You put the address here where it says rental property, term of the lease. My lease agreements are a year, okay? I don't do more than a year. I do a year, and then every year we have to renew. If we do not renew, it automatically goes into a month-to-month lease, okay? You're going to put the occupancy, who is living at the property. You put all, if it's kids or anyone who's living there, all the names there. You're going to put here it goes, rent due. The amount of the rent here is paid monthly. Then there is a landlord security deposit. Okay, that's the amount you put here. All right. This is where you say that the rent is due on the first of each month. Okay, you explain that there in that section where it says rent due. All right. Now the late fee. Now the rent is due on the first. You have until the 5th to pay. Once it's after the 5th, there is a late fee, which is $150. Okay. Now, after the 5th, you pay that late fee. Now you have until the 10th to make that payment. The rental amount plus the late fee. If you do not pay that by the 10th, we automatically file eviction on the 11th. Okay. And it says that here in this section 7, which is the late fee. You have the tenant initial here. You go to the next page. Here it tells you now, once we do file eviction, there is a administrative fee of $200 that's added to the amount. So if you do want to catch up and get it back current, you are going to have to pay that $200 administration fee, okay? Because we have fees that we got to pay to the court when we file eviction, so we got to recover that expense. Utilities, all of my tenants are responsible for all the utilities, water, gas, electric, whatever the utilities are. The tenants are responsible for that. I may have 1 or 2 units where I pay the utilities, but 99% of my properties, the tenant pay their own utilities. Maintenance and repairs. This section here just basically saying that landlord, of course, is responsible for any repairs that need to be done. But if it's any negligence in the tenant's fault where they have damaged the property, they are responsible for the repairs. They will incur that cost to get it fixed, okay? To get this section here 11, it basically explains the condition of the property. We will do a walkthrough prior to you moving in with the tenant, just to go over the condition of the property, checklist, make sure that the tenant is okay before they move in, and we get their initials by that as well, so there's no going back. If something happens or if it's default and they try to blame something about the property, we have proof that we all did a walkthrough, they initialed it, they was okay before they moved in. End of lease or renewing it here basically just states that you have 30 days prior to inform us as the landlord if you want to renew. Of course, the rent will go up on the renewal date. If you do not sign a lease, then it automatically goes into a month-to-month lease, okay? 13, pets. We don't really allow any pets at all. All depends on the pet. If it's a small, the little tiny dogs, then we may have that. But 95% of the time, we do not allow pets. Appliances, we used to apply those, but here in Georgia, we don't have to apply them. So now we don't apply appliances. That is the tenant's responsibility to do that, okay? Here is basically 15, the section here is governed by the state laws of Georgia, all right? And basically that 16 is basically saying that this lease is a legal document, okay? So this will hold in the court if we do have to go that route. In this section here, I put the contact information for my property manager, so if there's any issues at all, you contact the property manager. I put that information there. Also, sometimes I put here, there may be a tenant that may not have the full security deposit. They may be a few $100s short. I put that note here and have them initial it as well. So every page of the lease, you can see on the bottom here, we have the tenant initial, okay? Even on the signature page, all right? Then they sign the page here, and then us as a landlord, we sign there. Very simple, straight to the point. Like I said, 3 pages. It's really 2.5. It's 2.5 pages because this third page is really the signature page, but it's straight to the point. Very easy to understand, and that is it. You don't need a 10-page rental lease for it to be a valid, document, to use. So here you go. This is the exact rental lease that I use, straight to the point, and that is it.